Welcome. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate all your support. You guys have been awesome lately. Subscribers are going up, views are going up. I really do appreciate it. I read all of the comments. I don't know if I've ever said that yet on this channel. I don't have the time to go and reply to every single one, but I do read all of them. So I really do appreciate everything that you do to help the channel out. And this Dianna Russini stuff won't go away. This is wild. And this is why from video one, I was really wanted this to be pushed to where it becomes a bigger story the way it's starting to happen, because I think there's so much more underneath. And we're going to talk about that right now between Mike Florio at Pro Football Talk and the way ESPN has been handling this and why. It's an interesting story. So let's dig in. Let's dig into the very first thing. And this is crazy. This is crazy. Mike Florio talking to Chris Sims, and Chris wants to get into the Dianna Russini story. Pay attention to what Mike Florio does.
Well, it's the biggest story in the NFL. I wouldn't. I'd shoot you straight. These are things that I've been texting with about my friend with my friends in the coaching world. Even their wives are involved in the conversation
Stay on
as
target.
well.
Stay on target. Stay on target.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Be careful. I'm trying to. You ever see Star Wars?
Yeah.
You ever see Star Wars?
Yeah.
As Luke is going down I don't know. I'm not enough of a Star Wars nerd to know all the terms, but his wingman is telling him stay on target.
Right.
I'm just giving you. I don't look. There's a lot there, and there's only so much that is reported and known, and that's I'm just trying to help.
All right. In Star Wars, did they tell that they have a thing called "shut up" and just let the person talk? How about that? Then tell me that and read that line back. Well,
This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. Talking over Chris Sims to shut him up from talking about Dianna Russini. And I'm not a huge Chris Sims fan, but I love the part at the end when he just says, shut up and let the person talk. By the way, Mike, the word is trench. It's not complicated, and it has nothing to do with Star Wars, so you don't have to be a Star Wars nerd to understand that word. Mike Florio clearly worried about this story, doesn't want to talk about it, doesn't want to touch it in any way, shape, or form. And that makes you ask the simple question, the obvious question, why? You cover sports. You are sports media. As Chris just said, this is the biggest story in sports right now. And Mike Florio doesn't want to touch it with the proverbial 10-foot pole. Wants nothing to do with the story, right? I mean, you all saw that. I'm not losing my mind, right? He's clearly lost it. Like that was panic mode that you saw right there from Mike Florio. But it gets worse because, as you know, we've seen a lot of people trying to gaslight us. You know, Shannon Sharp, Chad Johnson, LaShawn McCoy, Emmanuel Acha, and on and on. All these guys. Nobody wants to talk about this story because they say, "Oh, it's just a couple people cheating." That happens all the time. It's not a big deal. Pat freaking McAfee wants nothing to do with the story. Pat McAfee, let me just tell you, bud, if you're watching, I'm sure you are. We move stories here. Why are you not touching this? It sounds to me like you have a gag order. You know, the thing that you said would never happen when you signed your deal with ESPN. It sounds like you have that right now, because there is no reason Pat McAfee, making sure I didn't mute myself, Pat McAfee has not talked about this story other than the fact he works for ESPN, and no one at ESPN has touched this story. But remember this, if you're wondering why, and you're listening to these people dismiss it as, oh, it's just a personal thing, it's an affair, it's no big deal, it's not sports news. Well, how about this, ESPN? Does everyone remember this? Two private citizens that have no ties to sports whatsoever equals rag on them all you want. Two public figures in the sports realm. SportsCenter, a show about reporting on and covering sports, stays silent. So yeah, remember this? I actually used a version of this with Mike Vrabel and Dianna Russini in a thumbnail the other day. This is that couple at the Coldplay concert, right? And here we are, Sports Center. They're mocking those two people who have nothing to do with sports, complete private citizens, not celebrities in any way, and you've got them on Sports Center mocking them. But Dianna Russini and Mike Vrabel, that is not a story. And here's why. Here's what this is all about, just in case you're all wondering if you want to look into this. Dianna Russini, for all her flaws that we are seeing very clearly, is not a I know she worked for the Times recently, but she's not a corporate owner. What I mean by an NFL or an NFL, company that is basically owned by NFL the way ESPN is right now. She kind of operates outside of that. And as we've seen with the AJ Brown story, she just doesn't cover stories. She doesn't just break stories. She moves and influences outcomes, not just reporting on them, moves and influences outcomes in the NFL. The way she tried to get AJ Brown from out of nothing to getting AJ Brown traded specifically to the New England Patriots. She does that all on her own. That is not NFL approved, which of course I'm sure that, none of this is liked by any of them. You've got ESPN now who is locked into billions of dollars in broadcast rights with the NFL. They're basically the NFL at this point, right? As part of the NFL, we'll call them a subsidiary. Now, the Athletic on the other side, they decided, hey, you know what? Our brand is we are not about that. That is not us. We are actually independent. We are not going to play that access game. And all of Dianna Russini's sourcing, all of that, it comes from the personal relationships. We see how personal Dirty Diana can get. But all of that is independent and outside of the system. That is a threat to the NFL, which means it is a threat to ESPN. So that is why this is a huge story that we keep talking about. It's not about their personal lives. And yet, and it's a huge story about the media, the sports media, and the sport that they cover, and what that means for all these other media. What are they covering up that they don't want brought to light by doing more digging into the Dianna Russini story? ESPN is burying this story, and they're burying it for a reason, and we deserve to know why. We deserve to know why they're doing what you're seeing on a loop in this about two private people, but they will not in any way, not even Pat McAfee, covered the Dianna Russini, Mike Vrabel story. It is ridiculous. It is suspicious. And all of us deserve to know. The fans deserve to know what is going on. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe. I really do appreciate it. I'll talk to you in the next one.